Hello and welcome to Hughes of the World on Politics Social. I'm Graham Hughes and this is the world, according to Google. Hello to everyone in the chat. We've got Diz in there. We've got Colin Thompson. We've got Saz, Pete's Music, and Phillips. We've got Diz again. Colin Thompson again. Pete's Music again. We've got Shropshire Chris in there as well. And Anne Phillips again. Okay, so hi everyone in the chat. If you'd like to join them in the chat, just hit the subscribe button, disappeared, and you'll be able to join them in the chat and find out the schnizzle on Czechia. Now, vast apologies. I was supposed to come on at 6 o'clock tonight, but I was given an emergency phone call from my friend Alex, who runs Politics X, asking if I would go on the show tonight to pre-record for Sunday, and so I said yes, okay, I'll do that, and I moved this show to 9 o'clock. So apologies, it's all Alex's fault, but you'll be able to watch me on the Sunday roast show on this Sunday. So we're going to be talking about Czechia today, which I'm old enough to remember when it was the Czech Republic. I'm actually old enough to remember when it was Czechoslovakia. In fact, I visited it when it was Czechoslovakia in those few years between the fall of the Berlin Wall and the split between Czechia and Slovakia. But we'll get to that in a moment. First of all, just, welcome to Czechia, as it's now known, the land of castles, beer, and revolutions, apparently. Nestled in Central Europe, this small yet mighty nation has played a pivotal role in European history for over 1,000 years. It's well known for its stunning architecture, world-class beer, and rich cultural heritage. Czechia is a land of thinkers, rebels, and artists, whether it's the astronomical clock in Prague, which is very famous, the haunting beauty of the Sledlik ossuary, or the legend of the Golem. This episode will take you deep into the heart of Bohemia and beyond. So first of all, let's have a look at the geography of the place. The location, as you can see here, it is located in the middle of Central Europe. So I will zoom out a little here. I don't know why this isn't doing, it's supposed to, hang on a sec. Hang on a second. This isn't working like oh, hang on. I've got to click on it. All right, sorry. It was just annoying me because it had a bar at the bottom, but now it's gone. Okay, so nestled in the middle of Europe, there it is, just above Austria. It really is the center of the beating heart, shall we say, of Europe. And there is Prague, the capital. And if I hover over, you'll see a nice image of Prague. That's a terrible image of Prague. It's low resolution and it's skewiff and it's mostly water. And who took that picture? Oh, that's better. That's better. I like that with the tree in the foreground. That's cool. That's that disgusting tower thing that's in Prague. I don't know why that's there. They should get rid of it. And there's some other places in Prague. There you go. Looking nice. There's one of the many bridges in Prague over the river, and yeah, more photos there. Anyway, let's zoom in on Prague. So here's the country. So just so you know, just so you get your bearings here, we have Prague. I can't find me pointer now. God, I'm having a day of it today, aren't I? There you go, Prague over here, and then we've got Brno, and we've got Ostrava over here, which means eastern town, I think, and it's over to the east, which makes sense. There's Slovakia. Now, this used to be one country for a bit after the end of World War II until 1993. It was one big happy family, kind of. And there's Germany next door. There's Poland up there. There's Kaliningrad, part of Russia. And down here is Hungary and Austria and Croatia. This will all come in very handy to know when I start talking about the history of the place. Let's go and have a look at the terrain. I think if we can, does this work as terrain? That doesn't work so well. Can we have a better terrain map? I suppose, yeah, there you go, that's better. That's the terrain map I wanted. We've got the Bohemian Massif that dominates the west of the country, featuring rolling hills, forests, and plateaus. And then we've got the Sudeten Mountains on the northern border with Poland. That's up here along the top border here. And then the Moravian region to the east, which features vineyards and rivers and fertile plains. The rivers and waterways, we have also the Vltava River, or the Vltava, sorry, pronounce it correctly, Graham. The Vltava River, the longest river in Czechia, which winds its way through Prague. And then the other major rivers include the Elbe, which is also known as the Labe. The Labe, not the Elbe, as in an elbow without the bow. The Elbe, it's also known as the Labe, and the Morava River. And if we zoom into Prague, oh my God, just let me zoom. Let a man zoom. We can zoom in here, and there is the river Vltava, which runs through Prague. And it's quite bendy as well. It's got a kind of like Thames thing going on there. That's got to become an Oxbow River one day. That looks like if you turned it on its side, it could be the beginning of EastEnders. Anyway, so this is Prague here. Loads of things happening in Prague. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool place. The talking of being cool, it's a temperate continental climate with cold winters and warm summers. Snow is common in winter, making it a popular skiing destination. Not Prague itself, because it's a bit flat, but the mountains are all good. Anyway, so the time zone, if you're interested, let's zoom right out. Whee! There we go, into space. The time zone is GMT +1. Central European time, and then between March and October, so probably now, they are GMT +2 during daylight savings time. So there is Czechia in the middle, the beating heart in the middle of what we like to call Europe. What do you like to call it? Trump just reduced the Department of Education, says Colin. Trump loves the uneducated, he said. I love the uneducated. There's some wild stuff going on in Oklahoma on education. Oklahoma Education Secretary has a problem with federal judges. Yeah. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's talk about Czechia, the beer capital of the world. Czechs consume more beer per capita than any other country on the planet, even South Korea. The first Pilsner was invented in Pilsen, which is why it's called Pilsner, in 1842. It's the land of castles. It has over 200 2,000 castles. That's a lot of castles. The most per square mile in the world. It's got the oldest university in Central Europe, the Charles University, which was founded in 1348. It's the oldest in the region. I think that's named after the then Holy Roman Emperor, but we'll get to that later. It's the home to the legend of the golem. Prague is the home to the mystical golem, a creature created by Rabbi Lowe in the 16th century. It's famous for its puppets and marionettes. Czechia has a 500-year-old tradition of puppet and marionette theatre. Well, we're checking out if you go there. It's also home to the world's oldest working astronomical clock, which is the Prague Orloj, which was installed in 1410. It's in the EU, but it's not in the Eurozone. Even though it was supposed to join the Eurozone in 2009, it's still not a member of the Eurozone. It uses the Czech koruna, the crown. It's a bit like Denmark in that respect. They still have a krona. It's the home of Skoda, the famous Czech car brand. Dates back to 1895, which is quite impressive, really. I don't think it's pronounced Skoda, is it? Someone's gonna tell me how to Skoda. Someone's gonna tell me how to pronounce it in the chat, I'm sure. Ice hockey legends. Czechia is a global powerhouse in ice hockey, winning the 1998 Olympic gold medal for ice hockey. You think it's going to be Canada, don't you? But no, it's Czechia. The invention of the word robot comes from the Czech writer Karel Čapek, who coined the term robot in his 1920 play R.U.R. Not like are you being served, but the letters R.U.R. The capital is Prague, as we have just mentioned, because we zoomed in there. It's known as the city of 100. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's the city of 100 spires. Prague is one of Europe's most beautiful capitals. It's home to Prague Castle, the Charles Bridge, and the famed astronomical clock. It is a historic centre of Bohemian culture, art, and politics. The flag, which you can see flying over here, was adopted in 1920, used by Czechoslovakia and retained after the 1993 split with Slovakia. It is white, representing peace and honesty. The blue triangle symbolizes Slavic heritage and vigilance. And the red doesn't stand for blood, actually. It stands for courage and bravery. So there you go. Not the blood of the martyrs. That makes a change. The national anthem is called Where Is My Home? Oh my God, I love that. It's like Where Is My Mind by the Pixies. Clearly. Should we have a go? Should we have a go at the national anthem? Do you want to hear the national anthem? Should we go over? Should we go over to our live feed? We're going to listen together to the national anthem. This is the national anthem of Czechia. Where is my home? When you're ready, the lyrics express love for the Czech landscape, emphasizing forests, rivers, and meadows. Oh, where is my home? Where is my home? Where is my head? Where is my head? Oh, sorry. Ah! Dicking around here, sorry. Go. I was going to move up here so you can read it. Orchids decked in spring's array. Oh, isn't that nice? Scenes of paradise. Oh, hang on. You can't hear it. Oh, bloody hell. Do you know what? I turned on the wrong sound. Let's try that again, shall we? Should we start again? You have to tell me that there's no sound. I realise there's no sound. Right. Let's try that again, shall we? Here we go. At least you'll be able to read the lyrics now as it comes on. There we go. Where is my mind? Where is my mind? I was swimming in the Caribbean. Streams are rushing through the meadows. That's nice. Midst the rocks, sigh fragrant pine orchids decked in spring array. Oh, this is lovely. This is so much nicer than God Save the Bloody King, isn't it? This land of wondrous beauty. It's the Czech land. Nice. Home of mine. Well, there you go. Lovely. That was really nice. I appreciated that. I'm going to just put myself back down here for next time. So I'm ready. I'm ready for you. So that was the national anthem of Czechia. Where's My Home? It was originally part of a 19th century play. It became an anthem in 1918. What's people saying in the chat? It's muting. Yeah, I know. I'll fix that, don't we? Lovely anthem. It is lovely, isn't it? You can see it. It feels quite operatic, you know, which is nice. Population and society. Population currently apparently is 10.7 million people, so it's quite a small country. It's not a micronation by any stretch of the imagination, but it is. I mean, it's a seventh the size of the UK. Well, a sixth maybe. The ethnic makeup is 64% Czech, and then we have Moravian. It's 5%. Some see themselves as a separate group. The Slovaks make up 1.5% of the population. Roma people make up 2 to 3% of the population, and Vietnamese make up 0.5% of the population of Vietnamese. A significant community due to Cold War ties, strangely enough. So there you go. There's a little question for you. Which country has 1.5% of the population hailing from Vietnam? And the answer is Czechia. Czechia has a large Roma gypsy population, often facing social exclusion and discrimination. Many Roma live in segregated communities with high unemployment rates. The government has launched integration programs over the years, but prejudice remains a real challenge. And let's not forget, the Roma of Czechia were specifically targeted by the Nazis, and the more Roma people from Czechia were killed by the Nazis than Jewish people were killed by the Nazis. So of Czechia, the Jewish people from Czechia. To give you some realization of the extent of what the Nazis did. Okay, so culture and lifestyle, they're highly urbanized. So I think that there's this sort of idea that Czechia is full of the city slickers, and then Slovakia is more of the country bumpkins. And that's not entirely the case, but it's a bit the case. But the Czechs have a love of nature. They enjoy hiking, cycling, and mushroom picking is a big thing in Czechia. And also pubs and beer halls are an essential part of social life, nestled as they are right next to Bavaria, which is a very famous part of Germany for brewing shit. They have some of the cheapest beers in the continent. So if you want to get really, really drunk, Czechia is a great place to do it. As far as sports is concerned, as I mentioned earlier, ice hockey is a huge thing in Czechia. Like, it's massive. People love they love the ice hockey. I don't know why. They just do. Like I said, they won the Olympic gold in 1998, and they've won multiple world championships. The famous players include Jaromír Jágr, Dominik Hasek, and Patrick Elias. I might be butchering their names. I'm sorry if I am. About football, I mean, it's a beautiful game, obviously, but it's not as dominant as hockey is in the Czech Republic or Czechia. But it does have a rich football tradition. Czechoslovakia won Euro 1976, something that England has never done. England has never won the Euros, and Czechia reached the Euro 1996 final. The clubs include Slavia Prague and Sparta Prague and Victoria Plzen. Pilsen. Anyway, in tennis, they've had some famous world-class players. Martina Navratilova is from Czechia, although she's gone quite turfy in her old age, unfortunately. Ivan Lendl, he was from Czechia as well. Petra Kvitova, and also Carolina Pliskova as well. Czech players dominate the Davis Cup and Fed Cup tournaments. Czechia has a free press, but oligarchs own many media outlets, which is something that we should all keep an eye on. The public broadcaster is called Czech TV. Well, it's called Czechia Televize, but Czech TV to us. And the newspaper, they have various major newspapers, including Prava and Mladá Fronta as well. And they suffer the same problems that we do with media ownership and people buying up these papers so they can be corrupt with them and further their own agendas, just like he does in Citizen Kane. Sorry, spoilers. The religion of Czechia, this is quite interesting. It's one of the most atheist countries on the planet. Only 10% only 10% of the population identify as practicing Catholics. There is a strong pagan and folk tradition in rural areas, and they remain there. Cinema, Milos Forman, actually, you got to put a H in there, Milos Forman. He was the director of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and also Amadeus, which is, I mean, I love One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That should be taken for granted. But Amadeus is one of the best films from the 80s that no one seems to talk about anymore. But honestly, it's brilliant. It's such a good film. And even if you know nothing about classical music, you know nothing about Mozart, it is well worth watching because it's not really about music. In the same way that sports movies are never really about sport. It's about something else. Like I say, the cinema, is quite famous, and also there's Yeezy Menzel. I'm trying to say his first name correctly. I think it's pronounced Yeezy Menzel. He's an Oscar-winning filmmaker. As well, and then we've got the arts and architecture. There's a mixture of Gothic, Renaissance, Baroque masterpieces in cities like Prague and Selski and Krumlov, and Cubism. Cubism is a uniquely Czech movement, as seen in Prague's House of the Black Madonna, which you might want to check out. It's not really my cup of tea, gotta say. Franz Kafka, as in Kafka-esque. He was a Prague-born existentialist writer, and Karel Čapek, who I've mentioned before, he coined the word robot in his 1920 book, R.U.R. The puppet and marionette theatre, which I mentioned earlier, Czechia has one of the richest puppet traditions in Europe. The National Marionette Theatre in Prague is most famous for its Mozart performances. I went to see a puppet theatre rendition of Don Giovanni when I was there. I wasn't supposed to film any of it, but I filmed a little bit. I sort of got my camera and just sort of held it down here and just turned it on without the record lamp. I turned the record lamp off before I went in, so no one would know. No one would know I was filming. I only got a few seconds of it. But it was really good. It was, honestly, you think, oh, puppets, what the hell? But no, it was surprisingly moving, considering it was puppets doing Don Giovanni, the story of which is there's an awful man who does awful things and then he goes to hell. What's this? You keep talking about great civilizations while I continue to build my civilization-ending death boat. Okay, Duke. Are you all right, mate? And then Czechs can fight. Some of their hockey games against Russia have been brutal. Good. Okay, so next up, we've got the history of Czechia. So let's get into this. This is sort of the bit I like, because I'm really interested in the history of various countries, all the countries in the world, because it all kind of links together and makes our rich tapestry of everything that's gone before. And this separates us out from geography now, which just looks at the geography mostly. Looks a little bit at the history, but we try and spend a little bit more of our show here on Hughes of the World talking about the history. So from around 5000 BC, we saw the first known inhabitants of what is now Czechia. They were Neolithic tribes living along the Elbe and Vltava rivers. We had Celtic tribes from the 4th century BC, called the area, I'm going to try and say this correctly, I'm probably going to mispronounce it, but it was Boioimum, giving rise to the name Bohemia, as in that famous song, Bohemian Like You. And then we've got around 100 BC, the Germanic Marcomanni tribe settled in Bohemia. From the 5th to the 6th century AD, we saw a Slavic migration with Slavic tribes arriving, mixing with earlier Celtic and Germanic inhabitants. They established small farming communities and adopted pagan religious practices, which are, fun. I quite like them, Midsummer notwithstanding. The movie, not the day. It's equinox today, by the way. Equal day, equal night. Pretty cool. So then we had the rise of Great Moravia. Moravia ran from 833. What time is it? To 907 AD. It was the first major Slavic state, Great Moravia. Emerged this under Prince Moimir the First, or Moimir the First in 1833, and in 863, the Byzantine missionaries Saint Cyril of Cyrillic fame, the Cyrillic alphabet, that comes from Cyril, and Saint Methodius introduced Christianity and the Glagolitic alphabet, which was the precursor to Cyrillic script. Roman script came first, Cyrillic script came afterwards. By the late 9th century, Great Moravia was a regional power controlling parts of Slovakia, Poland, Austria, and Hungary. However, in 907 AD, Hungarian raid destroyed Great Moravia, paving the way for the Duchy of Bohemia. So this ran from the 10th to the 15th century. First of all, we had the Pre-Mislids, where they were the first ruling dynasty of Bohemia, and Duke Wenceslas I, later Saint Wenceslas, he was known as Václav in his own tongue. He was assassinated in 935 AD, inspiring the Christmas carol Good King Wenceslas. But he wasn't a king, he was a duke. So it should be Good Duke Wenceslas. That's looked out on the Feast of Stephen. How does Duke Wenceslas like his pizza? Crisp, deep pan, and even, I think. Anyway, moving on. That's all tell shit jokes, eh? In 1085, while William the Conqueror was running around taking things over in the UK, in what would be England, what would be the UK many years later, Duke Vratislav became the first king of Bohemia. Not Duke, but the king of Bohemia. But the title wasn't hereditary. True story. And then they had the Golden Age under the dynasty of Luxembourg. Weirdly enough, should we go back to the map just to refresh our memory, right? So there's Czechia, there, right? That's Czech Republic, right? There's Luxembourg. Can you see there's a big Germany in the middle of them? But there you go. The Luxembourgish took over for a little bit, talking all their Luxembourgish stuff, I guess. Luxembourg is named after its regal family, so maybe it was just a cousin who went over there. I don't know. Anyway, in 1346, Charles IV, or Carol IV, became King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor. Holy Roman Emperor, Batman. So, the Holy Roman Emperor was seen as the successor to Rome. To the Empire of Rome, and they were supposed to sort of oversee the lands that were once part of the Roman Empire. And it was, it's kind of cool to have your King Charles IV. We haven't got that far. We've only had 3 of them so far. Still working on the next one. King Charles IV, he became both King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor at the same time. He founded the Charles University, the oldest university in Central Europe. That was in 1348, 2 years after becoming king. And Prague became the imperial capital of the Holy Roman Empire. Holy Roman Empire, Batman. And it experienced unprecedented growth. And then we had the Hussite Rebellion. So there was a guy called Jan Hus. Yeah, the little horsey. Hus, Jan Hus, that was his name. And he was a Czech priest, and his name was pronounced Hughes. Okay, so it wasn't Hus, although we do call them Hussites, not Husites, but whatever. His name was pronounced Jan, not Jan. Jan Hughes, like Graham Hughes, kind of. Maybe we were related. I don't know. He was burnt at the stake. Burnt at the stake for challenging the Catholic Church. His followers, the Hussites, waged a series of wars against the Holy Roman Empire. The Hussites defeated 5 crusades using their famous war wagons, an early form of mobile artillery. But the wars ended in 1434, but Hussites' ideas influenced Protestant movements all across Europe. So the fact that some of us in the UK are Protestants now probably has its bloody roots, in the Hussites' ideals. They were anti-pope. They didn't want the Pope to be judge of the church. And they probably thought that transubstantiation was just, it wasn't a real thing. It didn't really turn into blood in your mouth. It was just representing the wine was just representing. Billy Kershaw says, long pipe. Amadeus, great. Mozart's portrayal as him playing the same tune in the style of many other musicians and ending with Salieri's allegedly boring style but strictly fictional rivalry. It's just a fantastic film. It's just such a good film. It makes me want to watch it again, actually, just talking about, Miloš Forman. And also One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. What a fantastic, fantastic movie that was. Didn't Miloš Forman, did he? No, it wasn't that. Anyway, I was going to mention another film, but I realised it wasn't him who directed it, so I'm not going to make an ass of myself by putting it out. Okay, so the Battle of the White Mountain, 1620. Ooh, let's talk about that. In 1620, Catholic Habsburgs forces. They didn't force anything. They crushed the Bohemian Protestant nobles at the Battle of the White Mountain. Bohemia lost its independence and Czech lands were forcibly recatholicized. Is that even a word? Recatholicized. They were forced to be Catholics again under Austrian rule. Then we had the era of Habsburg Austria and the Czech national awakening from 1620 to, this runs all the way to 1918. So, hold on. We're entering hyperspace. We're entering historical hyperspace. The Habsburgs ruled Czechia as part of Austria, crushing national identity. The Czech language was suppressed and German became the official language. Czechia, however, remained the industrial and economic heart of the Austrian Empire. Then we had the Czech national revival in the 19th century. In the 1800s, Czech intellectuals led a cultural revival, promoting the Czech language, literature, and history. Figures like František Palacký helped restore the national pride, and the revolutions of 1848 saw Czech nationalists demand autonomy, but Austria crushed this nascent movement. World War One was the birth, really, of Czechoslovak independence. Czechoslovakia was born in 1918. During World War One, Czech and Slovak exiles, led by Tomáš. Sorry, it's not. When a word ends in S in some of these sort of Slavic languages, it's an SH sound. So it looks to me as like Thomas, but it's not. It's Tomáš. Masaryk, he pushed for independence, and on October the 28th, 1918, after the fall of Austria-Hungary, Czechoslovakia was established as an independent state. The new state united the Czechs and the Slovaks despite their linguistic and cultural differences, which will come in something that we'll talk about in a moment. Then we had World War II came along. They had a sequel. There's always sequels these days, isn't it? And Nazi occupation. So we had the Munich Agreement. This might sound familiar to some of you watching this, because it's basically what's happening with Ukraine at the moment. In 1938, Britain and France betrayed Czechoslovakia by signing the Munich Agreement, allowing Hitler to annex the Sudetenland. So if you want to go back to the map for a moment, sorry, I keep taking you back to the map, but it's important that you understand what this means. The Sudetenland was this area around here. So the north of the country, the east, the west of the country, and the south of the country. It was all around here, and it was a big industrial base, and Czechia wasn't even invited, or Czechoslovakia as it was then, wasn't even invited to the talks at Munich. Italy was, for some reason, but no, we weren't. We were there. The Brits were there. The Americans were there. The French were there. No one from the actual country that was affected was there. Does that remind anyone of anything? Was that when someone had a meeting in Saudi Arabia and didn't invite Ukraine? Was that what happened? Like literally last month? Wow, what a time to be alive. The Munich Agreement was when Neville Chamberlain came home with holding a bit of paper saying, "We're peace in our time, we've appeased Hitler, we've appeased him." But as Winston Churchill is alleged to have said in The Darkest Hour, You cannot negotiate with a tiger when your head is in its mouth. Very true. In March 1939, Germany occupied the rest of Bohemia and Moravia, turning it into a Nazi protectorate. The Czech resistance launched a sabotage attack, including the assassination of Reinhard Heydrich in 1942. The Nazis retaliated by destroying the entire village of Litice, which they massacred everyone. They killed everyone in the entire village, massacred them all, and razed the whole village to the ground in revenge. Then we had communists, and also during this period, Slovakia, the Slovakia part of Czechoslovakia was hived off, and that became its own part of Nazism, and it was run by its own leader. I'll talk about this more in a year or two's time when I get to the S's, when I get to Slovakia. After the war, they came back together as one. But in 1948, there was a communist takeover in the Soviet Moscow-backed coup. Klement Gottwald turned Czechoslovakia into a Stalinesque. You don't need an ISD, do you? A Stalin-esque dictatorship. Political purges, executions, and brutal repressions followed. But then in 1968, Alexander Dubček introduced reforms in the Prague Spring, aiming for socialism with a human face. Moscow crushed this movement with 500,000 troops, returning Czechoslovakia to hardline communist rule. Because, there's two people who really hate hippies. One of them is Richard Nixon, and the other one is whoever seems to be in charge of Moscow from one moment to the next. Bloody hippies. Velvet Revolution came in 1989. In December 1989, a month after the fall of the Berlin Wall in November 1989, inspired by that, in December 1989, a guy called Václav Havel became the first democratic president of Czechoslovakia, as it was then. Havel was a poet. He was a playwright. He was a man of many talents. He had written many books and works of poetry. And he was beloved. I don't know if he's still alive. Actually, I should have checked that before I started talking about the place. But he did a lot of good things. Unfortunately, in 1993, well, unfortunately for some, I guess, Czechoslovakia decided to split between Czechia and Slovakia. So it was known that the revolution that established democracy in December 1993, in December 1989, it was called the Velvet Revolution. So the split between Czechia and Slovakia was known as the Velvet Divorce. And, by and large, it was amicable. By and large, there was things that they argued about, rivalries and stuff like that. And there were a lot of people who didn't want to split the country. They were quite happy the way things were, but, it's the way it went down. So on the 1st of January 1993, Slovakia became its own nation, branched off from Prague, and set up a new capital in the city of Bratislava. Czechia joined NATO in 1999 and the EU in 2004. It hopes to join the Euro in 2009. Apparently, still hasn't. It's got a strong economy driven by automobiles, Skoda, and beer and tourism. And it's one of the most secular countries in Europe, as I've mentioned. And it's still politically divided to this day by pro-European liberals and nationalist conservatives. And, it's just a really cool place. It's a really, really cool place. I was a motorcyclist, never a biker. It's a class thing. Class. I'm classy. Now, what I was going to do for you, because you know how much I love you, I was going to have a video put together of my trip to Prague in 2005 with my then girlfriend Mandy, and I was going to show you some footage from that. But unfortunately, time got away from me. I didn't realize I had so much. I thought I had an hour to edit down to something reasonable like I did with Cyprus last week. I've got like 3 hours worth of footage or something mad. I think it's like 2.5 hours worth of footage. So what I'm going to do is we're going to just chop through a bit of the footage together, okay? I'll try not to make it too like... I'm just going to go to certain bits and just maybe freeze frame it and say, oh, this is nice. This looks cool. I'm just going to get me headphones. Let me get my headphones out so I can hear what's going on. So, yes, let's see if we can find... Oh, shit. Oh, something's still playing music. That's really interesting. Oh, the Guillemots is playing in my ear. I must have left... You know, we played the national anthem. I must have just left it playing, and it played the Guillemots next. That's weird. Today, Anne has called me a classless balloon person. What? Pete's music? Don't be a classless balloon person. What? Hassan made a comment earlier saying, was Stalin cringe as well? Yes. I think he probably was quite cringe. So let's have a look. Let's see if I can find... let's see if I can find some of my old movies from back in the day. I don't even know where the bloody things are now. Let's just type in Czech. Let's see. I'm having to do a search. I'll read your comments while it's searching. As I'm from the southeast, it's pronounced Klaus. Wildlife in Czechia, Graham. Oh, yeah, I should have done a thing about wildlife. I'll make a note of that next time. They have life, and it's wild. National Lampoon's shower scene danger. Yeah, maybe. This is no good. It's not giving me the bloody things. Oh, I know what it's done. It's hidden. It's hidden my footage somewhere stupid on some. This is what Adobe Premiere does. It hides things away in a file somewhere on your computer. As I'm from Southeast, it's pronounced class. I've read that. What does your Canadian friend cooking dinner for you have in common with the Empire from Star Wars? Pal Poutine, says Canadian Ollerman. Very good. Very good. Do you know how Darth Vader knows what Luke Skywalker's getting for Christmas? He felt his presence. Sorry, terrible joke. I was a hippie biker back in the day, says Pete's Music. I was a motorcyclist, never a biker. Ooh, classy. Badgers in Czechia. Well, yeah, we got Brock the Badger over there holding my Guinness World Record certificate as I wait patiently for my computer to find the bloody files that I downloaded today. I can show you the tapes. Look at that. Digital 8 tapes. I'll put that on the computer for you. Special. And very, very young Graham on this. I don't have a beard. That's how long ago it was. I don't have a beard. Pete, my sister was definitely a biker, but some twit ran into her leg and she had to give it up. Yeah, my dad was a biker. And, touch wood, he didn't have any mishaps, but a lot of his friends did. Oh, my God. A lot of his biker friends. And I don't drive a bike. I ride a bike. I don't ride a bike in this country. I can ride a bike. I know how to. I just never taken the test in this country. But I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. Because the whole point of being on a bike is just open up the throttle and, zoom along the road and just, carefree through the mountains or whatever. In this country, you can only drive about 2 meters. Then you got to stop at the red lights. And then there's the fact that, the car drivers are terrible. They just don't look. They just don't think unless you're in a car. And they're like, oh, look, it's a car. It's a big, chunky car thing. They just don't look. Oh, Full Mar Music. Thank you very much, Full Mar Music, who has bought a politics social membership for Daylight Dave. Well done, Daylight Dave. You're now a member for 1 month of the channel. Cool. And get a rose after your name, I think. Well, you should do. Why is Darth Vader addressed as Lord Vader? Because when he was called Master Vader, all the stormtroopers would giggle. Master Vader? Master Vader. Master Vader. In Old Swan in Liverpool, there used to be a baker's called Shaw's. Shaw's the Master Baker. I don't know if anyone told them. I'm still sitting here waiting for these bloody files to find the file in the filing cabinet of my computer. This is taking too long. Wow, Anne Phillips says one of my sister's friends was killed and another lost a leg. Yeah, probably. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Sorry, that's a terrible pun to make. But I'm going to say that it probably wasn't their fault. I mean, one of my dad's mates, he got hit by a car and like went forward and like smacked his chin on the bonnet of the car because the car pulled out while he was on the main road. And the guy got out and he was checking the bonnet of his car. He was like looking at the guy's on the floor. Like he didn't have a full face helmet on. It was one that didn't protect his chin. Yeah, mate, bloody hell. I've lots of high 8 tapes of Havana on the Malcon at night. Fab buskers. Oh, fantastic. I can't find the footage. So I recorded all that footage this afternoon. Well, I put it on my computer for no good reason because it's just not appearing. Oh, well, I'll just put out the time a little bit more. Cue for song. See you later, Master Baker. Oh, gosh, you got to be careful how you say that one, Anne. Biggest Dickers says, one angry bacon. No, thank you, sir. And then Full Mar Music saying, I fucking love Star Wars. I like that. I like the, you know, just put it out there. Just put it out there. Full Mar Music said earlier, they say 100 years ago, the average developed nation's IQ was 70. Quite a lot to unpack. Put it on the back burner. Well, it's all relative, isn't it? 100 in a particular country or area at a particular time. So, yeah, it can go. I guess it can go up and down. Your mileage may vary. What else have we got in here? I love the hat. Is that for me? 1 quarter Ojibwe, same Irish. No idea who Papa was. Irish. It was St. Patrick's Day on Monday, which was nice. Although they invited some horrific man to the White House for some reason. Well, this hasn't gone the way that I thought it was going. Oh, do you know what? Have I put it in as Prague? Did I write it down as Prague? Because I've written Czech to look for the file. Maybe I saved it as Prague rather than Czechia. I think that's what I did. It's a 27 gigabyte file. This 27, and it's like shit quality. It's just digital 8. But back in those days, the compression of videotape wasn't particularly great, and so yeah, you had to put a lot of data on those tapes. Did Graham just drop a Sepultura reference, said Hayden Puds earlier? Yes, I did. Well done for noticing. Thank you very much for that. I'm glad people notice when I do this stuff. Full Mar Music says all of the spirituality without any of the nonsense to express the courtesies associated with a healthy mind. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Pete's Music says sorry to hear about your sister. And yeah, it just fucking awful, isn't it? Duke says she does have to have her right lower leg amputated, but she doesn't care. Bloody hell. Anne said the one who lost his leg wasn't at fault. He skidded on loose patch of road and sued the life out the council. Yeah, I mean, Peace Music says I lost a lot of mates to bike accidents in the 70s. Sad time. Yeah, just it's not that I doubt the ability of motorcyclists. It's the other people on the road. I found it, and I did, like an idiot, I did actually, for some reason, call it Prague rather than calling it what I should have called it, which wasn't Prague, which it should have been Czechia. Okay, are you ready for a shock? Okay, here's. Oh, I'm just gonna. Okay. All right, I'm really trotting along here. My face is too big in the frame, so I'm just gonna go to this bit here. So here we go. Here's some footage of me in Prague 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Here we go. That's a building there. There's some people looking at Upside Down Superman. There's Upside Down Superman. This is an art exhibition thing. There's a triangle of cars. I think we were having a biennial when I was there. This is 2005. This is 2005. Here's a beautiful old building in Old Prague. Oh god, this feels like I'm watching old Super 8 tapes. I hate watching rushes. This is rushes. This hasn't been edited, so I don't know particularly what's going to be in here. I hope there's no nudity. I might get banned. I usually just get videos demonetized, but I might actually get banned. There's me. There's me. Oh my god, I'm so young. There's Mandy. Blah blah blah. God, baby. Here's a scary robot. Yeah, this is all a biennial, I think, or an art exhibition. I don't think this is permanent. But I quite like this guy.
Dude.
It's really scary.
He's really scary, apparently. What are we talking about here? Oh, and these are like men, or like a big row of iron men. There you go, with the bollocks out. Okay, cool, very cool. Moving on. And then and then I think I'm going to just skip ahead a little bit. Just walk through the streets. Go into a marionette shop. Do you want to see some marionettes? Here you go. Whoa! Jesus Christ. That look like Katie Hopkins. Oh, puppets. Puppets. Big thing over in... Oh, hang on. It's Don Giovanni. I mentioned this, didn't I?
So, Mandy, I want this as a backdrop. So we just bought tickets for this, which is Don Giovanni.
Come on, I want to
being performed by Muppets. Sorry, puppets. Sorry,
I'm going to just turn the volume up because the volume...
We've got to get a move on because the show starts in 25 minutes.
Forwards. Oh, this is the square with the clock in it. This is the square with the clock in it. There it is. There's the astronomical clock. That's pretty amazing. So let's see. It's got the hours of the day. It's got the months of the year. It's also got those, see those symbols in the middle dial there? That's what, they're the symbols of the zodiac. So you can see there, you can possibly guess what time of year I am if you know your symbols. I think that the 2 symbol is Gemini. So I'm guessing this is June, July, maybe. Someone tell me in the chat when this was filmed.
Although I don't remember getting offered marijuana quite as much when I was 6. Maybe I could be like I got like a zodiac for people who.
For some reason, yeah, I know. I needed to get like a better camera that I could hold out, at arm's length with a nice, a wide-angle lens on, so I wasn't quite so close to the actual camera. This is just going along the street. I think we go. Oh, that's a nice car, isn't it? Let's just skip through here. Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, we're not allowed to record the show.
Okay, so we're not. This is the Muppet. This is the puppet theatre that I just. This is my secret filming. I think they actually had a live orchestra there, which was quite cool. Skip along now. Mandy and I aren't together anymore, so well, going through these old tapes is a bit fun. And this is Prague at night, and that's us having some food, I guess. And then here's me talking. Oh, I've got a stupid hat on. Hey, that looks familiar. I have been wearing this hat for a very long time. There's the city. There's Mandy. Quick, go through there. Oh, there we go. There you go, that's Prague. Look at that. Look at that for Prague. Isn't it lovely? Absolutely lovely. Okay, so skip through here. Oh, we've got some people in the thing. Oh, this is where we go into the big church. So this is a very famous building in Prague, this church. Wow, look at that. There's a cherub there, like eating his feet. Look, he's like, I'm having that foot. Look at that, he's got a big foot in his mouth. Look at that. That's wrong. That's wrong on so many levels, isn't it? There's a little cherub holding a Jesus on a crucifix. Okay, that's me pointing at stuff. Let's skip through all this. Church. Very famous cathedral.
Schwarzenegger or something.
Very famous cathedral. There's some people making some stuff. There's I don't know, medieval Jesus, I guess. This is like a slideshow now, isn't it? Classy guys, thank you.
Ooh.
Tour group over there. Let's get rid of them. This is inside the cathedral. This is immense, isn't it? Jesus Christ. We knew how to build stuff. Remember when we knew how to build stuff? You know, when everything wasn't just made out of solidified slop that we called concrete? Them were the days. Oh, look at this. Oh, yeah, something I forgot to mention. Sorry, peeps. One of the things that Czechia is very well known for is its glass. It's its glass and its crystal. Very, very famous for its glass and crystal. If you get your hands on some really good, fine quality Czech crystal, it is, yeah, worth its weight in gold. So anyway, back on with the show. Where was I? Glass. Lots of glass. Oh my God! Look at that. Is it an ostomy? Is that going down to the ostomy? I like that. It's kind of demonic, isn't it? Oh, here we go. The Royal Crypt. Should we go down to the Royal Crypt? Come on, Mandy. Let's go down the Royal Crypt. Ooh, that looks like a good place for like an after party. You know, like 3 a.m. Just sitting around talking bollocks with your mates with a beer. Then we have the plans, and then we have JC there being held up by.
Is that the working on?
This guy's fixing the thing, the old thing. That's a dead bloke.
So,
and then we'll skip forward. Oh, we went up to the top of the cathedral and got a nice view of.
that over there is it St. Charles's or just Charles's Bridge? That's Charles's Bridge over there.
That's the Charles Bridge.
The pedestrian bridge. We'll go and have a walk across that on the way back.
That's cool. Oh, that's that horrible building that we saw before on the. Oh, there's a massive cock. Cool. I better make a joke about that. If it did, it was really. Look at the architecture. This is amazing. We used to build stuff like this. Look how beautiful that city is. That is a beaut of a city. Gotta say. Let's flick through all this shit. Don't know where we are now. I don't know if we're still in the cathedral. See that? Do you know what that is? That's a radiator.
Have you seen one of those before?
See that? I think they filled them with hot water and it made heat come out. I think. I might be wrong.
There's a king's seat over there.
Well, there you go. We must be in the palace. He must be a king. How do you know? Because he's not covered in shit.
So is this the King's Chapel?
Oh, the King's Chapel there. And then I think this is more of the church. I think this is more of the cathedral. Shot there, you know, for credits. Right, if it was all edited together properly. And then there's us fucking around. Cool. And then we go over here. Oh, there's Jesus and his mum. And there's Graham, and there's a skull, and there's my silly hat, and then there's people walking, and there's an umbrella, and there's a thing, and there's a guy with a knife. Look at that. Bloody hell. Do you know who that is? That's Abraham, isn't it? Is it Abraham and Jacob? Is it? He's going to kill his son. God told him to. And then this guy's got. Look at this guy. He's got a bloody club going. Look at this. It's very violent. It's very violent statues there. And he's like fucking rolling statues. Fuck.
And then the grey and then the yellow. Perfectly made.
Fucking Aussie. Fucking Aussie, mate. It's just looking cute. Look at that. How beautiful. How beautiful.
But,
going down the isn't that lovely? Just we should have a little bridge between the
I actually need to eat. At least.
Now, I have got another tape's worth of stuff. There's
Arches.
Charles Bridge there.
Old. I like it. What do you think?
Very big river.
It is a very big river.
For God's sake.
Yeah. It's not as big as the Mersey though.
Not as big as the Mersey, says Dickhead. And we had a band playing, which is nice. And then we have King Wenceslas, probably. And then we're back in the square with the clock. And then we're back in the old town here.
The bus, train.
Getting a cafe, going to a cafe, meeting with friends. That was Minna.
Yeah, but I think we should go and have a look at the St. Wenceslas Square.
St. Wenceslas Square. Okay, cool. And this guy's just looking at me like, who the hell are you? Which is nice, you know, which is nice. I've got another tape, but I mean, it's all like sightseeing shit. And I for all that footage there, that was like an hour and a half's worth of footage that we just ran through very quickly. That would probably make 5 minutes of actual decent watchable footage for a little travel video, which I might put together. I might put it together for you at some point of Czechia, but I think we're going to leave it at that for now. I don't know if anything more exciting happened while I was there on the second tape, but I think that does it have a ferry crossing? I don't think it does. Does it? It probably does, actually. It's a bit far to swim. Architecture's amazing, but the angle makes me a bit acrophobic, says Anne. Sorry, Anne. That's a beautiful view, says Alvin. Oh, thank you. Oh, you were talking about the view of the... Oh, okay, sorry. View of the city. The sheer terror, says Fulmar Music. And, the outside world, says Duke Vengeance. Indeed, the outside world. So that's it. We have managed to make it to the end of the ABCs of the countries of the world. Because 45 countries, 46 if you include Congo, the other Congo, which I'm putting the D's. 45 countries all start with either the letters A or B or C. Next week, we're going to be heading over to the Democratic Republic of Congo, which I'm going to put down as... Sorry. I'm going to put that down as the next one in alphabetically after Czechia and before Denmark. So if you would like to join us for the sad story of what happened in the Belgian Congo. And when I say the sad story, I mean the absolutely horrific story of what happened in the Belgian Congo. You need to understand that a quarter of the population were wiped out in quite brutal ways by the Belgians, or at the behest of the Belgians. It's some of the things that I know that went on in the Congo. It's a bit much, so I'm going to do a content warning before next week's show. So please join me next Thursday for the next episode of Hughes the World, where we will be going to the Democratic Republic of Congo, or the DRC, and we'll be getting into it all. We'll be getting into the meat of it. So if everything else in life is getting a bit much at the moment, maybe give it a miss. Maybe give it... I know I should be promoting it here, saying, yeah, come and join me. Come and join me, you sexy people. But I'm not going to say that because if I know a lot of people are really struggling right now anyway, and it will not help. It will not help. So I'll make that really clear. But I'm going to make the episode anyway because some people might, get some information out of it that they might not have already known. But I like these videos. It's a bit of distraction from the orange chaos, says Alvone. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to give you some other colours of chaos instead. Graham, those tapes were very expensive then and only did 45 minutes best quality or 1 hour of poor. Well, this was 90 minutes on long play, which is poor quality. But you know what? This is quite exciting. Doesn't matter anymore, because you can get a 4:3 picture and make it 16:9 using AI. And you can upgrade to like 4K and make it less grainy and make it look halfway decent using our software now, using AI. So I'm going to be revisiting a lot of my really old footage dating back to 1998 when I first got my first digital camera and, sprucing it up, making it look sexy. And Anne says, yes, you can't beat the music except maybe the Czech anthem. No, you'll never walk alone, beat all. Or maybe you can adapt that instead of God Save the King. Maybe it would make a good national anthem, wouldn't it? But it's an American song, isn't it? It's from Carousel. And they'd sing it at the funeral at the end of Carousel. Fulmar Music, sorry, spoilers. I'm close to some villagers in Africa. I donated money from a whim after finding them on Facebook to them. One of them made a charity. That's really cool, mate. That's really cool. Okay, I'm not even under your influence, possibly an equinox thing. I'm off to bed. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for Morning brew. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. And then at 1 o'clock tomorrow, Phil and I will be duking it out over Labour's benefit reforms, or entitlement reforms, as I like to call them, because, you know, people are entitled to these things. And we've got to stop looking at them like, you know, this is a terrible thing that people are signing on. No, you should sign on, because that's what society's there to help you with. Anyway, so if you'd like all that, and just so you know, tomorrow we are going to do a Friday night social, but it should really be the Friday evening social, because it's going to be from 6:30 till 7:30, and then I've got to go and see a friend for my friend's birthday in Newcastle, so I will not be doing the Friday night social at the usual time of 9:30. Sorry about that. So if you're looking out for it, it won't be there. But you can go straight from our Friday night social to A. Thompson's and all the disappointments on Friday night, and then straight on to Max's feed from 8:30 till 9:30. So you got at least 3 hours of us lot before you have to, I don't know, go back to the real world. I don't know what you do. Okay, so thanks very much for watching, and thanks for all the chat and the bants, and have a good evening. Sleep well. And until next time, say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Here's a like.